gist of the speech was really to talk about black economic empowerment and transformation in the construction industry. And I was saying 22 years into democracy, we've been conference after conference, workshop after workshop, summits, ministerial pronouncement, government efforts, but nothing has really happened in the industry. You still see very little participation of women in high management, no black ownership, very little blacks in boards, very little improvement in participation. So that was the one leg, to say we have not made the kind of targets that we wanted to make. We had thought by this time we would have 25% of this industry owned by blacks. We are nowhere near that today. So that is the one thing. The second thing is to say to black business, can we look into ourselves and say, what is it that we have done in the past 22 years ourselves? Why are we in the state in which we are? And one thing is that I think we've allowed what I call tenderpreneurship to take over. We've celebrated people who win tenders, but we failed to look at the ability of entrepreneurs to build companies and build real companies. And building companies takes time. And if we had started 20 years ago to build our companies, today we would be proudly pointing at black-owned companies and say, these companies we've built through our own sweat, blood, and effort. And this thing of wanting to have a stake in a white-owned company there, celebrating with a black tie event that we have 2% and 3% of that, buying a Mercedes-Benz and an X5, has confused us. That's two. The third one is that I think government has also let us down, because it has provided opportunities to the politically connected, irrespective of their entrepreneurial capability and abilities. And therefore we've left real entrepreneurs on the sidelines, and we've given people who are card-carrying members of political parties opportunities. And those people know nothing to do with what those opportunities. They get the money and they can't sustain companies. And for students, we were saying to them, age is on their side. They need to perform well in university and start companies so that they do not repeat the mistakes that we've repeated, because it perpetuates the notion that a black African is a parasitic someone wanting to benefit from other people, and they cannot create that of their own. And I think a new perspective that must emerge is, what can black people, black students, black academics, black professionals, black entrepreneurs, what can we do that is of our own, so that we can map up our own destination and start to own South Africa and therefore own Africa on our own.
Innovative entrepreneurs, opportunity creators, value unlockers, job creators, and will lead to growth. So in other words, I spoke earlier about value adding to the industry. And I'm saying, if you begin to develop black entrepreneurs, real entrepreneurs, those entrepreneurs will bring about value into the industry. And you will be surprised at how welcoming and how new partnerships can be formed with even your traditional white counterparts, if black entrepreneurs could prove that they are worth who they are, and that they themselves can bring value into the table.
We need political will. We need proper political leadership. The Minister of Finance said 900 billion is allocated to the construction infrastructure spend. If I was Minister of Public Works, I was going to say, of the 900 billion, I'm going to take 30 billion and use it to target accelerated black economic empowerment, and not apologize about that. I was going to say, I'm going to take a portion of that and ensure local participation of local SMMEs, but have a decisive thing that says we will accelerate these black businesses and use our budget as government to do so. And if government had done so 20 years down the line, today we'll be sitting comfortably looking at growing black-owned companies. So there's no political will. Government must put a stop, and that stop must be put now on corruption. We must put a stop on giving people opportunities because of political affiliation, and identify real entrepreneurs and use the budget of the state to accelerate that. So I'm saying there's a lot of money available. It's political will. Secondly, entrepreneurs must stand up and be ready to run companies and understand that they are not going to be rich tomorrow, that it takes time. They need to build companies steadily. And if we do that, we will be able to implement. Thirdly, we need to allow funding. Remember, black business cannot get funding from banks. So we need to find new creative ways of funding them. And government is one of them. They themselves must be able to put together some funds to be able to loan those entrepreneurs who have promising companies that can grow. We need to look at venture capital in this country and be able to get those that have succeeded to be able to give money. And thirdly, I really think that if we can can improve on linkages, link black businesses with other foreign businesses, and not only rely on South African business, because those are resisting transformation, but link it with international other businesses, we will see tremendous growth in the opportunity and transformation and empowerment in this country. Organizations like the BMF, the Black Business Council, the National Federation for the Building Industry that I'm president of, all of those organizations must chart a new path for themselves to say, we're taking charge of mentoring future black business. And this is what we mean by black business. They need to take charge and say to government, it's been 20 years of talking to you. Can we talk about hardcore concrete projects now? Concrete opportunities given to blacks. And if the ANC cannot do it, then we must say to the ANC, you are failing us as black business. So I'm saying we can do a lot in academic institutions. We need to accelerate and profile black academics, and because they have got the intellectual capital and capability, who will accelerate black MBAs, black engineers, black master students, who will go out and run companies on basis of pure sound business principles. If we do that as blacks together and stop this pulling down syndrome and start uplifting each other, then we will start owning this country. At the moment, we're sitting on the periphery. And if we do so in the next 20 years, then there is no hope for Africa.